Hey everybody, it's Doug here. Welcome back to the channel. I know it's been about a week and a half or so. Had some life stuff come up. Took just a short break after playing Lord of the Rings Journeys in Middle-earth. And I'm coming back at it. As always, I will not let you down. I'll keep going. But I need a little break because life was busy. And it's been very busy at work and all that good stuff. So anyway, being that that's true, I'm also going to do some revisiting of games that we've played in the past that are really fun to play in a solo video environment that I can share with you. You may not have seen it, who knows? But one of my favorite publishers of games that are solo playable or good co-op games is Victory Point Games. And you know, one of my all-time favorite games, Darkest Night, is produced by them. They also make Healthy Heart Hospital and what is it, Dawn of the Zulu something. Anyway, that's another real good one. State of Siege game like this. Now, Darkest Night's not a State of Siege game, but this one is. And a State of Siege game is a game mechanic where you have these paths that lead to the destruction of your whatever. In this case, it's going to be Farmingdale, the town of Farmingdale, which is going to be overrun by zombies. And now we are not here to beat the zombies back and destroy them all. We're just here to survive until the military shows up. That's right. Now, I'm going to be playing the basic game, but I'm even getting to add a little twist in that because there's been some recent updates to Dawn of the Zeds, which we're going to include in this basic game, which is why I went back to the basic game. Now, normally I've done all the setup for the basic game except for a couple of things. All the boards set up. The only thing I haven't done is set up the deck yet, our event deck, and there's a reason why, and I'll show you what that is. And also, while I did originally pick the characters, I have two other characters I'm probably going to swap out if it makes sense, and we're going to talk through that in this video, and they come from a couple of expansions. One is, let me see, expansion pack number 2, it's called New Player Blues, and expansion pack blah blah blah, something else. Let me see, expansion pack number 1, Stepping Forward, because there are some new characters in this, and we're going to take a look at them, and there's also some new cards that are going to go into our deck. Now, as you know, we build, if you don't know, we build our basic game based on this book. And it's very, very clear. It tells you all the things you have. It has 4 characters, all the things that you need. 6 civilian units, which I already have on the board. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. They're all already out in their designated positions. And they're randomly determined. I got lucky on one track. It was the track I don't think I need to be as lucky on, which is the suburbs track down here. You can see... got some big units, 3 and 4 units. We'll see what those do. Those are civilian units. They're currently defiant, meaning that they're not going to move unless zombies attack them. They're refusing to evacuate and leave their homes. Stupid people. They always do that during hurricanes too, right? Anyway, it shows you everything that you need in this, right? Except for that. I got to get that out. I don't think I have that card, but it's okay. We'll get there. Anyway, and then it shows you your deck construction. Now this is deck construction for standard solo co-op. This is standard, this is long. We're going to be playing a standard solo game. This is a standard co-op game. So we're going to be playing this. It means it's a little longer, and that's fine. And then this is for versus deck, meaning you got players versus somebody's playing the Zeds, right? So we're going to get on with that. So what I want to do is show you that the card setup mainly, because a couple things. So we're going to be placing replacing our heroes, and possibly and definitely adding in some cards. So there's going to be some more randomness to it than you would normally see. Okay, and we're going to show you what that is, because that means there are going to be some cards that don't make it in the game. It's going to make it some additional variety, especially in this basic level. So here I have the cards set out for the deck construction. And what we do is, like, these two are always going to be, these 3 actually, are always going to be the first 3 that you encounter, except now there are some other ones. There's this Denial is Not a River in Egypt, ha ha ha. And these cards, these event cards, as we advance in the game, we're going to, or advance in difficulty in the game and game modes, we're going to be adding things on, but for the purposes of a basic game, we're only concerned about this one that says Zeds and one that says Actions. And that's the only thing we're going to be concerned about in the basic game. You can see there's 2 new basic cards, so when we have 3, we're going to have 2 that aren't in the game. That's kind of cool. So we're going to put those right there, and you can see oh, there's another one. Sorry, there's 3. I guess I should go through these. And 4, crazy time. Let's see. Then we also got a couple more for here. I'm just going to get them spread out. We got a new end card, which is going to be interesting. That means the ending could be different. And we have some new Fate Blue level Fate cards, which are going to go in our Fate deck, plus also some big whopper, a 3 and a 4 card as well. Are going to go in there. Now, we may not see them. We may not. But these ones are going to go into our Fate deck, which we have up here. The Fate deck is currently all blue, meaning lowest level, basic level of the game. And we're just going to give that a shuffle. I'll shuffle this every time we use it, but we're going to do that. So right now I'm going to build the deck. And to build the deck, we're going to first take a look at the table I showed you earlier. So what do we need right now? Well, we need, in the first top part of the deck, we're going to have 3 cards, and they're going to come from this set right here. So we're going to shuffle them up, and I'm just going to put the other ones aside. We're not going to look at them after we put them aside. So let's see, I think that would be pretty good. We'll give it one more cut. We'll go 1. We'll cut it again just to make it as random as possible. 2 and 3. And these other ones I'm going to put right up at the top in my holder. Now, in the second part of it, so this will be the top of our deck right here, right? So I'm just put those aside for a moment. Then the second part, you see we're going to have 6 and 1. Now, what does the 1 mean? Well, there's these super bad cards that go in there. That's one of them right here. It's going to get shuffled into the 6 cards. But we know we have, I think I have more than 6 here now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep. So we're going to have to get 6 of these out. And then shuffle that one into it, the You Gotta Be Kidding card. And it's really, really bad. Even in the basic game it's bad, but it is what it is. And those are the ultra bad ones that we deal with. Okay, so I don't really remember much of these anyway, so it's not going to matter which ones they are, except they'll just be more for variety. So we're going to go 1, cut, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. 6 there, and then we'll take this one and shuffle it in as well. This is building up our deck. Now remember, the mission, the goal of the game is simply to survive this deck, right, and make it through. So on the next block, we're going to have 4 and 1. So we know we got the 1 right here. We're going to have 4 here, but I believe I have more than 4 now. I do. So we're going to shuffle them up and draw 4 of these. That means one's going to be left out, so I'll just take the one out that we don't need because there's 5. So we'll just do that. I'm going to cut, and the top one will be the one that comes out. Okay, boom. And then we'll shuffle this one into it. This should be fun. We'll see how this goes. I got the rules out. I read through quickly the rules for the new cards. There's some other new material on them. And then last but not least, we have well, not last but not least, we have the level 4s, the baddest of the bad stuff. We're only going to have 3 of those, and there's 4 of these, so we're going to shuffle and take one out. Okay, it'll be this one. All right. Boom, and then we're going to shuffle this one in. This 4 level brains one in. Yeah, okay. Hopefully these are, the first one at least, it gives us a little time. And then, last, on the very bottom, we're going to have one of our 3 end cards. And if we get to that, that's the end. So, I didn't look at them, so I don't really know what order they're in anyway, which means it's going to be this one. Okay, and that'll be the end of that. So now what do we do? What do we do? We take these and we say, okay, this is our first one. This is going to be on top. Next, here, and there. This is our deck. I'm going to put that right up on the board for right now. And now we're going to take a look at our characters. Now, my original lineup was going to be as follows. This is a really good group for solo. There's also another level 1 character. He is, meaning they're easier to play, not necessarily can't be played in higher levels. They can all be played in all levels, but it's the mayor. I don't really like the mayor as much, but we have 2 new characters I want to talk to you about. So I'm going to clear these guys aside. We're going to talk about these 2. Okay. We have Mrs. Henry Hauser. She's a civic character, and she's got a movement of 4, strength of 3, and if she gets wounded, she's a 1. She's not as tough there. But it says she's a thrifty quartermaster. This may be a replacement for Mr. Johnson, because Mr. Johnson, you almost have to have him in this basic game to scavenge and get more ammunition. The problem is that he usually starts with a bunch of stuff. She doesn't. So that could be a different, but it says while she is in town space, you receive a saving roll for each ammo you lose or spend. For any reason on that roll, a 5 or 6, the ammo is not spent. That's really good. The Iron Volunteer, she can occupy a hospital staff office space. While there, units discharged from the hospital during the action phase receive an immediate free action. Now, what that means is we're going to end up with civilians that may survive an attack and end up in the hospital to come back later, or they could die. Or our characters that we have, that could happen with them also, but we'll see. And then Combat Coach, any unit she's stacked with, including those in the town center, receive a +1 strength in hand-to-hand combat. So she's good at getting people going. And then it says her pistol shot, her gunfires receive a 1 shift, and I'll talk about what all that means when we play. She rolls an additional die for all gunfire attacks, selecting which die to use to determine the outcome. In addition, the gunfire attack she makes uses no armor or ammo. She's really pretty darn good. I'm going to tell you that right now. She's not extremely strong. She's got 3. That's not bad. But all her support abilities are pretty neat. She's a great support character. But we also have Bouncing Betty. Now, she's also a civic. She's a nutcase, apparently. Anyway, she's nearsighted. She cannot use gunfire attacks. This is personal. She has to get in face-to-face combat with them. She's ruthless. When on her full strength side, which she is, her hand-to-hand combat is on humans ×3 column. On her reduced strength side, her hand-to-hand combat is on human ×2. So she's always really nasty in hand-to-hand combat. She's like the female Rambo. It says heedless. When she wins any hand-to-hand combats against Zeds, she moves to the next space. If it contains any Zeds unit and attacks, she stops where she stops when there is no new Zeds to fight, or she loses. She cannot ever enter a start space. Okay, that's fine. I don't really care about that. That means she can't get all the way in the track. Deathless. When she makes a saving roll, she can roll 2 dice and choose the better of the outcomes. So basically, if she were to go down, she actually has a better chance of surviving it. She's tougher. I really think these are great characters. I want to try them out. I'm just a little nervous because this game's not easy to begin with, and going with 2 brand new characters could be challenging, especially when the thing about a couple of these characters, especially like Deputy Smith and Sheriff Hunt, is they have the ability to do extra actions, and that's so important in this game. I'll tell you why I say that. So Deputy Smith has his initiative token. It says, once per action phase, he receives a character action to spend on his unit only. So he gets to do something every turn for free. That's really important. And then Sheriff Smith has leadership. Leadership allows us to move civilian units around and get them to take actions as well. That's very important too. But I do think that we're going to take a chance. Now, so here's another problem. Let's take a look at something here. Scavenging is an important part of the game. Actually, that's combat. Wrong one. Let me look at the scavenging card. So basically, if we scavenge up in the Lucky Strike mines, we have a better chance. There's some areas that are better at scavenging than others. And I would like to make sure that we have the ability to scavenge really well. I'm sorry, I'm looking for the cards that tell us, the player aids that tell us about that. Oh, here. Oh, duh. It's right in the top corner, right here. Okay, here we go. So you can see if it's a mine or security, we get a lot of ammo if we roll 6. See, the cool thing about Mr. Johnson, he gets to roll 2 dice on here. The rest of them usually only get to roll 1. But Mrs. May Hauser, actually not Mary, Mrs. May Hauser has that ability to not use ammo while she's in a town space. So if she stays in the town space, she can do that. We can also send Bouncing Betty down a track. I don't know. It's kind of... Now, Mr. Johnson also has some other really cool abilities, so this is a big debate. He has this heavy weapons. His gunfire, because he's got a big old shotgun, receives a 2 shift that way, which means it's better. I'll show you what that means, just to give you an idea. We're going to roll 2 dice whenever we attack, and we're going to look at this chart. So let's just say his strength is currently 3, right? He's going to go up to 5 automatically because of his heavy weapons. So it's hard to decide who to get rid of. I think the one that would be easiest to get rid of would be Deputy Schmidt. Even though he's got great abilities, he's tough, he's got martial arts and hand-to-hand combat, he's allowed 1 reroll, that's pretty good. He's an Eagle Scout, he receives a shift in hand-to-hand combat. But Bouncing Betty, I think we're going to definitely do that, right? Let's say, for sure, we're going to replace good old Deputy Schmidt with Bouncing Betty. So I'm going to take him out of the picture, and we're going to put her in the picture. And by the way, there's a few more new Zeds that I'm going to put in the cup. They don't. They just add. They just add to the cup of random Zeds, and here is her. So she will be in the town center instead of Deputy Schmidt. Now the question comes into Mrs. May Hauser. Man, I don't know. I still think Mr. Johnson might be more effective, though. I do want to just change it up. So we got Bouncing Betty. Is one enough? Let me think. I don't know, guys. This is a tough call. I mean, the difference between May and Mr. Johnson. You know, again, if she was following around Bouncing Betty and gave her a +1 hand-to-hand combat, that is really gross, man, especially since she's already disgusting as it is. She can wade through zombies. But I don't think she can move with her, so I don't know if that's a big deal. However, being in a town space and not using ammo is pretty useful on a 5 or 6. I mean, basically, it's a 6 to get good ammo. It might be just as valuable to keep the ammo that we have, except Mr. Johnson, again, one of the big things about Mr. Johnson is he comes with these extra 3 bullets. So while we start on the, what space do we start on with our gun? I gotta look. There should be. I gotta look at the scenario setup, but it should tell us where it starts. We just gotta look it up. Okay. Anyway, that's not a big deal. We'll figure that out. The thing is that that will give us made sure we have at least 3 ammo to start with, and that's really, really valuable. I think there's a starting point on here. Anyway, we'll figure that out. I got to remember that. It's just been a while. So, starting point on our guns, our ammo track. I know we don't start empty-handed, but we'll see. Okay, and then, gosh, I'm just still so torn on this. I think, man, May, I don't know. We can't replace. I don't want to replace her. The other 3 are too useful. I mean, she's as tough as, well, she's not, actually. She gets hurt. She gets hurt pretty badly. Maybe we'll just do Bouncing Betty, because we're transferring out Sheriff Schmidt. That could be pretty interesting. I think we'll do that. We're going to leave her out. We'll just have her and sorry, not Sheriff, Deputy Schmidt out, and we'll have these 4. We'll have Bouncing Betty, Mr. Johnson, Sheriff Hunt, and Captain Piazza. Now, in the solo game, we do get a player action that we get for free. So that's why I mean those extra actions are so important, because you don't get a ton of actions in the game. However, we do also have another unit that is important to us. And that is this one. We are going to be, I randomly chose our special, our advanced heroic civilian unit. Now, this is blue, so it's still fine. And these are civilians. So it says ability, it's got the field medic ability. Once per action, this unit may spend a field medic station action marker and 1 supply to perform 1 heal. Now, we don't have supplies, so we can't do the action to any unit on adjacent space. Place it on the, okay, maybe that was a bad one to do because we don't have supplies. Is there another one? No, we might have to change that, guys. We don't have I didn't realize that. I didn't look at it. I just randomly drew one. So we're going to have to get the other one out, I think. Okay, we're going to go with the VFW Local 12, Chapter 12. There are 3-2. Says armed and ready. This unit's first gunfire attack each turn costs 0 ammo. It still costs an action. And combat experience, the unit ignores retreats, forcing Zeds to retreat instead. That could be very, very useful, actually. Now, I've seen a lot of playthroughs with the other one, the Farmingdale Furies, which are very cool. It's the local Farmingdale roller derby team. I love them too, but I want to do something different, so we're going to do that. Okay, here they are. That's those guys right there. We're going to replace them with... We're going to take them off the board. One of the healing. Okay, we're not going to get it. All right, anyway, that is going to set us up. Now, we are good to go. We have our characters. We have everything ready to play. Let's get into the gameplay. Now, how does this work? We're going to look at the sequence of play. And it's pretty straightforward, guys. So, we're first going to draw an event card. Now, we're going to do the 2-4R phase. Now, we're going to deal with that. That's not really going to come into play. See, that's green. Not going to come into play in this one. We're going to do the infection phase. That doesn't really eat Zeds. This is for the basic. Now, we're not playing with any of this. The only thing we do is we do the draw event card, then we follow the Zeds phase, and then the action phase, and the housekeeping phase. So that's going to be all we're going to do in this game. Now, my plan is to then play a second game with the next part of it, which amps up the stuff a little bit. And we have to do things like, I don't think we have to eat yet, but we have to worry about some other things, right? So... Anyway, that's going to be it. Let's get on with the game. Let's get started. So I did keep Mr. Johnson, so I know we have at least 3 bullets. We might have more. I'm going to check that real quick just to be sure, but we know we have at least 3. Yeah, we actually receive 4 ammo. So we're going to start with 4, and then Mr. Johnson's 3, so we're going to have 7. That's pretty good. All right, well, let's get started. We're going to start right away by drawing our first event card. By the way, for all those veterans out there, it's Memorial Day, so please, thank you for your service. Thank you for your commitment to our country and all that good stuff. Now, let's draw our first event and see what it is. Let's move, people. This just can't be too bad. Now, again, this 4R thing we're going to ignore. We're going to ignore that. We're going to ignore eat. We're going to move right to here. So, we're going to have movement on the... hey, oh, I don't have my zombies out yet. We got to do one more thing for a setup. Sorry, guys. Let's just start right here. I got to get the zombies out. I was saving it for you guys to see what we get. Okay. By the way, the dreaded SpongeBob cup is alive. We're going to draw a zombie out and see what it is. It's going to be a 5 unit, so we're going to have a 5 Z unit just to show you the anatomy of that. That's their strength. That's their health on this side. So they can take 3 hits and then they flip over, become weaker. They can take 3 more hits and they're dead. That's what all that symbolizes there. Okay, now we're going to put 1 up on the mountain track as well. Ooh, it's a strong one. It's a 7. That's going to go up here on the mountain track. What else? A 6 on the highway track. We're getting some beefy ones out. There are oh, no, he's not in here. Sorry. Slipped into there. And, oh, 5 on the suburb track. Okay, well, that is where we're going to start. So now let's, now that we have that, I can actually finish this action. Okay, we're going to start on the, now these tracks are basically, you can see them by the symbols. So that one is going to be the forest track. That's the green little symbol right there. And this one is going to be the mountains track, the little hiking guy. And you can see those on all of the tracks as you go along. Anyway, it's also color-coded. So, but the symbol's there for those that are colorblind, perhaps. And we're going to get 4 actions, which is a lot. But I almost wish this didn't come out quite yet because it's really not that advantageous to get. Well, it can't hurt to have all those actions. We'll be well prepared. All right, so what we're going to do is the first thing is this Z unit's going to move up here. We don't have any new Z units appearing. That's good. And then over on the mountain track, we're going to have this 7 unit moving 1 closer to that defiant group of civilians. They're not very strong. They're only a 2 strength in Letty's Pass up here. Okay, but that was all that happened there. Now, there's some more on here. You can see as we go to our action phase, there's nothing new or else on the Zeds card. We're going to go to our action phase, 4 actions. It says the beginning of this phase, Z. Now, that is a cooperative thing. We're not going to deal with that. During this phase, all move actions that begin at the town center are free. Wow, so we're going to get a free move and 4 actions. Now, how do actions work? Well, right here is our track. The most we can ever have is 4. So we got 4 actions. You get this little like movie clapper board, clipboard, whatever it is, goes right there. And that's not good. It should be right there. Okay, and we're going to then continue this, and then that's going to be the end of the event. So we know that we get to take our first action out of the town for free. That is very, very powerful. We also have a player action, so actually we have 5 actions, and then Sheriff Hunt gets to move civilians. So I think the track that seems to be in the most trouble momentarily, and a track that's more important to us, is the mountain track. Now, I also have some tough civilians down on the suburbs track, so I'm not as concerned about the suburbs. I'll probably send the sheriff, I don't know, let's see. Anyway, let's take a look at this. This is the most important because that's a 7 Z unit against a strength 2 civilians. We got to get something going on up there. So, we're going to spend no action because our action for this first move action is free. God, that's actually a really great card to come up, isn't it? And we're going to move Captain Piazza. Now, she can move 5, so we're going to get her going. Here is her token right here. This is her strong side and her damage side. She's starting right here, so she's going to get to move 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. She moves all the way up to the Lucky Strike mine. Oh wait, do I want to do that with her? Because I want to send Mr. Johnson. I don't have. I did keep Mr. Johnson. I want to send him up there too. I don't know if I want to have both of them going in that direction. Maybe what we'll do is let's do this instead. That is important, but we'll have Mr. Johnson up there. Let's send Captain Piazza to defend the forest. She's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. She's going to stop there with this unit because her best thing is her sniper ability. Right now, I didn't read the cards. We'll read them as we start to play the characters. So, she's an elite sniper. Captain Piazza can make long-range gunfire attacks. Her gunfire strength is based on the range. So her best range is 2, and that's why I stopped her there. because not only is she in a defensible place, but the Zeds unit is 2 away. She also has Overwatch. After she makes a gunfire attack, she may withdraw. That's pretty powerful. And in ammunition crafting, she may make her own ammo and then shoot. Spend 2 actions to make a gunfire attack using 0 ammo. Well, we will use that at some point in time, and then the military thing is for versus mode. But let's take a look at her. The only girl in a family of 7 brothers living in Window Rock, Arizona, where her father worked as a government liaison with the Navajo Tribal Authority. Her desert upbringing was Maria Piazza's invitation to learn to shoot, and shoot she did, winning a number of regional competitions and performing as trick shot artist. When an Army recruiter approached her, she cradled her latest trophy in her arms. She saw a chance to put her talents to use in the service of her country, a dedication her father had instilled in her. Navajo friends had taught her how to move with stealth and quickness, and this talent, too, assured her a fast track in the military as a scout sniper, able to shoot and scoot, finding new positions quickly from which to make new shots. After seeing service in various parts of the world, she was reassigned as an instructor at West Point. This suited her as it gave her time to pursue her other great interest, crafting beautiful jewelry in the Navajo way. She felt she had found her niche in life as an artist and teacher until one day orders arrived detaching her for special duty at a government lab in a place called Farmingdale. She had no idea what the duty might be, and she hated to leave the point. But in the Army, orders are orders. Okay, so she has moved up to there. And we're not done with her yet, because that was remember, that didn't cost her anything. She got in there with no actions. So we're going to spend an action to take a shot at these. So our first attack of the game, she's going to take a shot at this 5-strength Zed unit that's over there and see if we can kill it. Alright, how does this work? Well, you know that she has a strength of 3 on the gunfire table, except her special ability bumps her up to 4 because that Zed unit is 2 away. So we're going to look here at the gunfire table. She's got a strength of 4. So anything over a 5 or 6 is going to do some damage. Here's the dice. Let's roll them and see what she gets. That wasn't cocked. It's a 5. That is not great. It's just 1 point of damage on the Zed unit. That is okay. So how does that work? Well, we're just going to take a little damage marker. Now they could take more damage than that, but this one, we're just going to put this little damage marker right here. That means it only takes 2 more to flip that character over. We're going to pause there. I'm not going to continue with Captain Piazza quite yet. She could snipe and kill that thing again, but let's see what else we got going on. Next up, I think we're going to take an action. We'll use our player action. We'll spend that on Mr. No, we don't have to. He's moving for free. You got to remember that. Moving for free right now. He's going to move up and try to see if he can get to Lucky Strike Mine. Don't think he can in 1 move, but we're going to go 1, 2, 3, and 4. So he's right there. We might move him 1 more. We'll see. But I want to get these free moves out of the way. And I think we'll have, let's see, we'll have Bouncing Betty go. She's going to move 2, get out of the town center. She's going to move southward, I believe. She'll move down here. So she's going to go 1. She's got to move into 4. Well, 1, 2, 3, and 4. She's headed to the nuclear power plant. And then we got Sheriff Hunt. Sheriff Hunt is first going to use his leadership ability. Yep, that's what he's going to do. He's going to spend that, and that allows him to, what is his leadership ability? Oh, we're supposed to read these things, aren't we? We'll get to it. Okay, we'll read them later. We're in the middle of the gameplay. I'll read 1 at every episode. How's that? So we're going to spend his leadership token. What does that do for him? It says, once per action phase, he may spend his leadership action to give a civilian or refugees unit in a space 1 free action. Now, it does say that during this phase, all move actions in Town Center are free, so I don't even need to do that with him. This is crazy. I'm not used to having all this free actions going on. Anyway, we're going to just move them to here, I think. This track only has that really weak... No, take it back. We're going to move them north. So we'll move them there. They can move 2. And then I think for Captain Piazza, they have to be in the same space or next to him. They do. So he will, or not, Sheriff Hunt rather. And he's the last person in the town. I think that what we're going to do is he will order these guys right here to move south. So they're going to move to there. That's 2 moves for them, just to get them ready. I think we got the other tracks. Now we may have to move them around. We'll see. Piazza moves very quickly, so we can get her around as well. But we still have 4 actions with our player action left, and a free action for the sheriff. So the sheriff is going to go down and support the southern track right here for now. So he will move. He moves 4 as well. He'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. He is here in Beauville with this very strong civilian unit. That way he can move these. He can manipulate these 2 units around as they deal with Zeds. That's probably the best card I think I've ever seen in the game. That has to be a new one. I do not remember that because we still have 3 actions left to go. So I think it would make some sense to spend. We'll spend our player action and have her shoot again at the Zeds. Why not? I mean, we got plenty of actions to go. Might as well see if we can drop that one down. I did forget something that is important. That is, I need to lower the ammo by 1. But let's do this. Since we have so many actions and we really can't fight everybody, we'll spend 2 total. So the player action and 1 more from here to craft her own ammo so she doesn't use any ammo. Because that is one of her special abilities. And we'll roll again. Hopefully we get something. A 5. Oh, wow, really? Okay, well, Captain Piazza, a 5. Again on the strength 4 table. Going to look like this. 1. No bueno, right? So that means we flip it over. She is not doing a great job, but this unit is about to collapse. So when they do fight the civilians there, they're probably going to drop. Hopefully, that'd be the theory. Anyway, we got 2 more actions left. Let's see. I think what we'll do is we will move. Yeah, let's spend 1 more of our actions. We're going to move him to here, just to get him up to the Lucky Strike mine, and then we'll spend 1 more action, our last action, to have him scavenge. It actually ends up really important because we can run out of ammo. Now, normally we're trying to scavenge for supplies and ammo, but in this basic game it's just ammo, so all we're worried about is this right here. And we're in the mine and security outpost. So let's roll 2 dice for him and see he needs a 5 or 6. Well, we got a 6, so that means we are up 2 ammo. That is fantastic. That puts us 1, 2. And that is going to be the end of our actual event. We concluded our very first event, and it was a whopper. That is fantastic. Next thing we do is the cleanup phase. We turn over our player marker. Now this player action marker can be used on any of the characters. It's just an action that we get to spend, and we also get to spend or turn over Sheriff's Hunt leadership token. There's no other things that need to go on there. So then we're just going to move on to our event phase again. So we'll wrap around. We did the cleanup. Remember, we only do 3 things in this one. We do the Zeds event card. We do the event card, which means just the Zeds action and our actions for the turn. So let's go back to the board. We're going to do another turn at least and see what we get to do here. Heck, we already had some really wimpy but action in the game with Captain Piazza. Let's see what happens here. Rule 7, cardio. Okay, well, as you can see, we got a whopper on the Zeds track, right? So that's a Zombieland reference right there. We're going to see 2 movement on the suburbs track. So that is going at the beginning of the phase. Place 1 new Zeds unit on any empty start space of your choice. We have 2. Okay. Otherwise, place it on the start space with the lowest strength Zeds unit. Now, Zed units can stack. They can turn into a mob. They can have 2 units on it. If and when a Zeds unit enters a space occupied by a civilian or hero unit this turn, you may freely retreat. That unit instead engages in hand-to-hand combat if we don't retreat. So, let's do this. We're going to get the magic cup out. We're going to draw a Zeds. Before I draw it, I'm going to place this on the forest track. Okay, it is a 5. Okay, that's not so bad. We got 2 5s there on the forest track. The forest track is not going to move this turn. We're okay there. We are going to have 2 movement on the suburbs track. So here we are on the suburbs track, and it's going to go 1 and then 2. Now, I have the ability to freely retreat, and I think now once the Zeds enters here, this defiant marker comes off. These guys are no longer defiant. The Zeds have entered town. They're starting to attack the people, but we get to freely retreat. If and when a Zeds unit enters a space occupied by any civilian or hero unit this turn, you may freely retreat. It says see rule 6.4. Talks about retreating. Freely means we don't suffer any consequences for doing that. So we're going to retreat. They can move 2, but retreating will only move them 1. Okay. I think. I'm going to look at Rule 6.4 just to be sure that's true. Again, it's been a while since I've played, but we're going to check it out. 6.4 is about retreating. So, retreat. When retreating. Oh, hold on. Let me just read it and I'll be right back. Yeah, they're just going to move 1 space. Now, why did I do that? Because there's really not a huge point. I know we gave up East Iraq to move to Farmingdale University, but I can actually move them down and have the sheriff take a long-range shot at them. Because he can make a gunfire attack as well from 2 spaces away. He can shoot from right there. It's just at a -1 penalty, so he'd have a strength 4, same as Captain Piazza, right? I mean, that's pretty darn good. So I think we're going to do that next turn. But that's it for the Zeds portion. Now now you can see we only have 1 action. That's what I'm used to seeing. So now we only got 2 actions to spend plus the sheriff's leadership ability. Yuck, right? Okay, so I think for the first action, we have 2 units on the forest track now. That's kind of scary. I think if Captain Piazza can just get a good roll, she can put him down. So I think we're going to spend our player action to do that. Okay, so there's Captain Piazza. We know what she has to roll. She's got a strength of 4. Come on, an 8. That might just solve our problem. So we're on a strength 4 chart right here. Rolled 8. That's 2 more. So it's not actually going to kill him. So 1 is going to flip them to 3. So now they're only a 3 unit. And we'll still have 1 damage on them. Good job, Piazza. You're whittling them down slowly but surely. That unit is going to be kaput. And for that, we are going to use an ammo. Okay, now we still have 1 action left plus Sheriff Hunt's leadership ability. I cannot bring this unit back to here because there's a 2 unit, 2 heroes, 2 Zeds stacking limit. These don't stack like Zeds do. Zeds actually combine forces. These don't, but there can only be 2 in a space. So the Sheriff's leadership ability isn't going to help much there. And these guys won't move because they're still defiant. So if I did move them back, they'd have to move to here, which I don't see the value in that. There's a benefit for moving there, but I do know that we're going to spend our other action for the sheriff to take a shot at those Zeds over there. Now, like it said, he can take that long-range shot at a -1 shift. His strength is 5, so he's normally up here. He's going to be on the same strength level as Captain Piazza when she uses her sniper ability, so it's still not bad, right? And he's going to take a shot at these guys right here. He rolled a 7. I think that's going to give him 2 points of damage. Let's see. On a 4, a 7 is 2 points. Yes. So we get to do 2 more points of damage to these fine fellows here. We're actually, man, that first turn really set us up for a good start. Unfortunately, that's all of our actions. I could use his leadership ability to move somebody back, but I don't think that's going to go that way. So we're going to leave it alone. He did then use another ammo, though, so we're down to 6. I'm going to have good old Mr. Johnson scavenging there. So that was a good turn. Let's do the cleanup phase. We're going to unspend this because that's really it. That's all we can do. And I think that's a good place to stop this video. That was a pretty, well, let's do one more turn. One more turn. Okay, one more just to get us going. Now, the reason I want to do one more turn is because there are 3 cards in the basic part of the deck, so we know that we're going to clear that out right now, right? So let's wrap back around, pull our event card, and see what happens next. Okay, let's see what our new event card is. Okay, it's Panic is Self-Preservation. So again, we skip all this, but ooh, that's no bueno. At the beginning of the Zeds of this phase, okay, we would have that is again a co-op action, but we're not worried about that. During this phase, all move actions toward town center by units adjacent to Zeds are free. So all units adjacent to Zeds get a free movement. But this is going to happen first. It says during this phase. I don't know if this is going to be, that's not really going to help us that much, but it's okay, it's okay. So first off, let's start up at the forest track. We're going to have a movement here. You always move the inner one first, and then the outer one, because you got to be careful about stacking. So you can see that we're starting to get to a point where we're probably going to get attacked on the forest track pretty soon. Let's go over to the mountain space. We are going to have an attack there as this strength 7 unit hits that group right there. So first things first, we're going to remove the defiant marker from them. That is gone. They are no longer defiant because they are being attacked by zombies. Now, this is going to be our first hand-to-hand melee action. This is a problem, right? Because that's not a very strong unit. So if we look at this chart, you see that we have various advantages here and then our dice roll. Okay, we do get a terrain shift for being in Lefty's Pass. That's helpful. But this is not the best scenario for us. So if they survive, they're going to use that free retreat. I can tell you that, right? If they don't retreat, rather. And I'm glad we were sending our VFW, old soldiers up there to help defend it. So here's what we have. Now, right now, they're strength 7, we're strength 2. Well, that's not 3x, is it? Let me see. It is. So that right now it's Zeds times 3. That means they have huge advantage on us, right? But we do get a 1 shift, so they're going to be Zeds times 2. That's it. So we have to roll very high to avoid any things. Now, what does this mean? This side is the Zeds damage, and the other side is the humans damage. And if there's a block on it, it means a retreat and retreat. So we have to roll a 10 or better to actually have the Zeds retreat. Not likely to happen, but we did roll a 7. What does that mean? That's not too terrible. Well, it is, actually. It's going to flip them. So, and then, let me see. It won't kill them, but it's going to flip them. So we're going to flip these guys over. They took a big hit, a whopper hit. Now, why isn't it? Takes 2 to flip them. So we've got 3 total points of damage. So we had 1 hit, flip, and another hit. They are 1 away from dying. I got to put a heart on them just to show that. They are here. And then, as you noticed on this, on 7, on Zeds times 2, they are going to retreat. So they retreated to the Lucky Strike line, and the Zeds moved in there and took over Lefty's Pass. That was a bad scenario for us, guys. That was not good. Not good at all. And then, but that's not it. We're not done. We also have some movement here. These Zeds are coming up there to this another weak unit. We've got to get Betty down there as quickly as possible. Now you see the problem with with the action. You normally don't have enough actions to do everything you need to do. It's just the way it is. Gets to be a very intense game. And then over here we have movement as well as this. These guys are going to move into this space right here and attack this unit. Now the good news is it's strength 3 versus strength 5, so it's just Zed's advantage. But because we're defending in the university, we're going to get a 1 shift over to equal to. So this isn't so bad. It's going to be on the equal to chart. These units are going to defend against them. Let's see what we get. Well, that was bad. A 3, even on the equal to, is a hit of 3 on them. That is really terrible, guys. So, and they retreat. So these guys go to here. They got seriously hurt. We did no damage to the Zeds, and then they move over to here. Now, why did they move all the way back to there? Because there can only be 2 units. So they're going to continue on and retreat back into this space. They're still a strength 2 unit, but they're really weak, and we lost Farmingdale University just like that. Wow. Okay, well, that's that. So now we're going to take our actions. We have 2 actions. Remember, during this phase, all move actions toward town center by an adjacent unit they can move. So we're probably going to do that, actually. I guess they can't do that if they're defiant still, so we're kind of stuck. Anyway. I think I am going to move that 1 unit back to town. They're in bad shape. Okay, but anyway, let's go back and get our action set up for the turn. Say, but anyway, one more time. I'm going to choke myself. There we go. So we got 2 actions. We're going to get to take those. What do we want to do? Well, we have some areas that are at high risk at this point. Okay. I don't think we're going to do anything about this track yet. These guys are going to have to get hit. We have another unit coming down to defend there at some point, if we can. Okay, but what we are going to do is we're going to spend Sheriff Hunt's leadership token to move these guys back to the bridge. There's no point in them staying there. They're out of the fight for now. And then we will use one of our actions. These guys are in bad shape. I'm almost not caring about the guys on the forest track attacking the civilians. They're so weak. Right now we'd be at advantage, and they're damaged. So we'd be okay there if the civilians there took the fight to them. So I think I'm going to use one of my first actions to have Mr. Johnson up here take a shot. Now that is going to put us down to 5 ammo, but he's going to take a shot at these Zeds 1 space away with ranged attacks. Now remember, his special ability is he's got heavy weapons. He gets a 2-point shift, and he's at a 3, so he's going to be at a 5 against that 7 unit. Let's see what he can do there. Come on. There you go. Oh, an 11, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, 11 on the gunfire table at a 5 is going to be a 3-point hit on these guys. So, again, how does that work? Well, first hit, second hit, third hit flips them, and now they're over here with as a 5-point unit. And now I feel better about that. We are going to take advantage of this, and we're going to have these guys that are adjacent to a Zed's unit retreat 1 space. It says actually free movement, so they're going to move all the way back to the campground right there. Okay. Our next action, what are we going to do? Oops, I had the sheriff on the wrong side. I had him on his weak side. Nobody's been hit yet. I could have... Mr. Johnson has some other abilities, but I need him to stay there. He also has this practical medicine as an action. You can perform a heal action. The cost, we don't have supplies, so he can't do that. This is when he enters play, we got that. And then Scavenger, we got that. Heavy, and then also Traps, that's one. When Zed's unit or Zed's mobs enter space, he may roll a d6. He can conduct normal hand-to-hand combat, or he can do one hit and retreat and withdraw. So I don't know if I want to do that, though. I may use my other action actually to shoot them. That might be the one thing that makes the most sense, because I need him to stay at the Lucky Strike mine. But that'll put us down to 4 ammo, which means next turn he'll have a free... If he kills him, he'll be free there to scavenge. Yeah, let's do that. So we're going to use... We haven't used our player action yet either. We've only used one actual action so far, haven't we? Yes, that was the only thing we've done so far. Because that movement was a free action. So we're going to use our second action to have Mr. Johnson shoot again. Hopefully he kills these guys. Wow, he's doing really well. He rolled an 8. That is going to be enough, I believe. Let's see. An 8 on the... Remember, he's a 3 plus 2 shift for his heavy weapons. It's going to be 3, which means he killed this unit. So, 1, 2, and 3. This unit's dead. It goes back in the cup. Okay. And then for our player, our one other action, our player action, I might have him scavenge because we're down at 4 ammo now. And he can get up to 2. And we're going to need that ammo. Or I could have Captain Piazza take out these guys and take... We only have one action left, so she'll have to burn an ammo. Well, you know what? The Lucky Strike mine is clear right now. The force track is clear. So we're going to spend an ammo and have her take a shot. And we're going to use the same dice that Mr. Johnson used to see. Strength 4 against this 3-unit Zed. It's 6. She's not rolling as well, but that may be enough because they already have damage on him. Let's see, a 6. No, it's only 1. She's just popping them one at a time. But what does that mean? They're at ×2, so that means the next hit on them will kill them. But we spent our player action as well, and we're down to 3 ammo now. That leaves that unit there in really good position to kill those guys when they come up the track, though. And that is going to be the end of our turn. So, guys, that's going to be the end of this video. That was a good long run. We're getting started here. We got some good things going on. And then I should have selected these guys anyway, just to commemorate Memorial Day. This VFW veterans coming through there to help fight off these Zeds attacks in Farmingdale. Anyway, guys, that is episode 1 of Dawn of the Zeds. If you did catch any mistakes I made, I haven't played this in a while, so it's possible. I don't think I did, but if you catch any, please let me know. And what we're going to do is we're going to play this basic game, right, just to get you all in it and get started. And then we're going to we're going to play the Outbreak Level 1, which adds some things onto the board. So it's going to be pretty cool to see how that goes. And then we go from there to Apocalypse level, which is 2. But this just adds some new features in, which is pretty interesting. I'm looking forward to sharing this with you guys, especially with the new cards and everything, because we got new green guys. Now, they won't come out up through Apocalypse. I think the basic game, you don't start seeing green until Apocalypse, which is level 2. And then, and then Brains level 2. Yeah, you get... all 3. Yeah, it gets better and better as it goes along. Anyway, guys, that is it for this episode. So thanks so much for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I appreciate you letting me go back and doing a nostalgic visit with Dawn of the Zeds, adding some new stuff in. And there's more stuff to add. We got these cool expansions that came out recently. And there's a lot of things that, man, this basic game doesn't have a lot of things. That this game gets really involved. Like, you can put up barricades, and you can build... This is for building the super weapon, or the laboratory where you can help create a cure. And you have people that can help in the hospital that expands their abilities. It gets really, really cool. You also have a bad guy that can come out. Later on in some of the later levels, you can also have, again, not only is it solo and co-op, which are the ways I play it, but there's also a versus mode. Not my favorite way to play this game. But it's out there, right? You can play that. Makes it pretty cool. Alright, guys, take care. I will see you in the next episode, and enjoy the rest of your Memorial Day. If I'm posting this late, I apologize. It's Memorial Day where I'm at. So, I will see you in the next episode. Take care.